Hello, and welcome to our introduction for working with colored pencils. Today, we are going to be talking about multiple ways that you can fill in. A very common way is just filling very lightly when you can see like the texture of the paper. Sometimes people will even throw in one of these darker outlines. This is a pretty common method of coloring. Many of you have probably tried this method, but today we are not going for light coloring. Instead, what we're going for is something called burnished. And that means we're gonna start out by giving ourselves a very hard, dark border so that we don't have any space left up against the side of this line here. So we're giving ourselves this border, super hard, heavy pressure. And now I'm going to fill in this space using rows of teeny circles that are overlapping each other. And I am going through and filling this in so that I have zero white grainy marks left behind. So I'm just filling this in using those small little circles, making sure that it is completely solid and that I don't have a single little white spot left behind. And this method is called burnishing. Now, this looks like a much higher quality than this. So we are going for very filled in, no white grainy spots left behind. Now, we are gonna take our colors, and this is a little practice to show you what it looks like when we combine a layer that's our darker color that fades all the way out, and a second layer with our lighter color that comes all the way back to where it was solid. Now let me show you what that means. And we're gonna start by filling in with just a solid color. That means we're burnishing, so give yourself that full outline. Make sure that you have no little white spots left behind. Now we're gonna come into this section and we're gonna make this a nice medium tone. So we're going to just help this get a little bit lighter by pressing a little bit lighter. And then we're gonna come in for our light. Now we want that to be a nice light layer. All right, and so we've got our dark, our solid, our medium, then light, and then white. Now let's practice what our second layer is going to look like when we come in on top of it. Oh geez, I just broke my pencil. So that's okay. I highly recommend sharpening your pencils quite a lot, and sometimes that does mean that they break. That's not a big deal. So we are going to come in and we're using those small circles and heavy, heavy pressure to fill in for our solid section, and then we stop right at this last layer. Now let's see what that looks like when we combine them. So let's add this layer plus this layer and see what it makes. So we're gonna come in for our first layer, and we're using our darker color of the two. We're gonna start by filling in super, super solid. And then when we reach our next line, we switch and help this to fade into a medium. So I'm pressing lighter with my pressure and I'm allowing those white spots to show through. And then our last section is our light layer. So I'm coming in with just a light dusting here. Now I'm gonna come in with my second layer color. I'm gonna fill in solid all the way back to this first line. So I'm just gonna take this color, and I always start on the lighter side, and we're using up and down motions. So because it's fading this direction, I don't want to color horizontally. I want to color using the angle that it's changing with. So because my color is changing vertically, I want to color that same direction too. And I'm going to bring that all the way back with my solid to where I began with my hard layer for my first color with that darker color. And now you can see that they combine and mix really beautifully together. So let's go ahead and pause right now, and I'm gonna have you try that. Ready, go. All right, next we are going to take this same method and we're going to use that to help us practice fading from a color to white, from black to a color, and from a dark color to a light color. So we are going to begin by fading with a color to white. Now I am gonna come in, let's see, let's do this lighter blue. So I am gonna come in with my color. I'm gonna fill it in nice and solidly. I wanna have a solid section, right? So we're making this completely solid with no white spots. Then we're gonna fill in with our medium tone and then our light tone, and we want to help this to fade out to white nice and smoothly. So we've gone through and filled in our dark color. Now we're going to come in, and because we're fading out to white with this one, we are going to use our white colored pencil. Now for this to work as well as it should, you need to take your pencil that with the color and just barely dust in some of that light value changing so that you can see that it goes from dark to medium to light and that it just barely fades out into the white. It shouldn't have an abrupt edge or stop. Now we're going to come in with our white colored pencil, and we're using our solid layer going all the way back to where it was solid. And I'm coloring vertically to help these colors blend together better because they fade vertically. Now I'm going all the way back, and I'm just using very heavy pressure, some little circles like ovals here. And I'm just going all the way backwards, and using those circles is really a great way to help these colors mix together. Now for our next one, I'm going to come in with black. We're going to add our solid section, and I am going a little faster than you should, so remember to give yourself those borders, especially with these dark colors. We're going to come in and help our black to fade out to a medium. And then we want to fade this all the way out to a nice light and then let it just disappear into the white space here. Now looking at this, I need to go back. Do you guys see why? Now it starts really dark, has medium, but it fades out so soon. So what I need to do is I'm going to come back through, and I'm going to add in a little bit more of that light and a little bit more of the medium tone to help stretch that out so that I'm filling this space, and I'm going to have a nice transition, stretching the length of this whole box, not just the front section of it. So I've perfected my black, and now I'm going to come in with a color, and I am going to start on the other end. We're going to be using small circles, filling with heavy pressure. And as we reach the black, it's important to remember to color up and down rather than side to side to allow these colors to slowly mix together. Now, we're using small little circles to fill, and you can go along the lines of the gaps at the top and bottom to help make it a little bit neater. And our last practice is going from a dark color to a light color. So I'm going to take orange and I'm going to fill a solid section. I'm going to fade this out to a nice medium tone, and then all the way out to a light. And I want to stretch that all the way out so that I'm just leaving that last little section white, right? So make sure that you don't go too, if you don't have enough like stretching it all the way out, then you're not filling the whole box. So we want to stretch this all the way out until we've got just 1/4 of it left. And then we're going to come in with our lighter color from the other side, coloring vertically, and we are using those little circles to help us mix together, especially on this light end. Heavy pressure is the way to get it to mix. And then we'll go all the way back to where it was solid at the beginning. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching.